I used to wake up at 3 a.m., gasping, heart hammering like I'd just sprinted from danger. But I was still. No dream, no sound, just fear, raw, untethered, and inexplicable. If you've ever felt like your body betrayed you for no reason, you're not alone. And what I discovered might change everything you believe about anxiety. On paper, I had it all together. Steady job, cozy apartment, that reusable water bottle I smugly carried everywhere. But inside, I was unraveling. My gut was a war zone, bloated, twisted, constantly aching. Foods I thought were healthy made me feel like I swallowed a balloon. And coffee? Olympic sprint to the bathroom. But the worst part wasn't physical. It was the panic that followed every single time. What I didn't know back then was that every attack had a trigger, and it wasn't emotional, it was microbial. I'll tell you how I proved it with a single test, but let's go back to when it all came crashing down. One night, after takeout ramen, I collapsed to the floor in the fetal position, heart pounding so loudly I could hear it echo in my ears. My fingers tingled, my vision blurred. I thought, this is how it ends. But it wasn't a heart attack. It wasn't even psychological. That night, a light bulb flickered on. This always happens when my stomach flips. Could it be my gut was triggering my panic? Here's what they don't teach in school. Your gut and brain are connected via something called the gut-brain axis. This is a literal information superhighway between your intestines and your mind. And get this, your gut creates 90% of your serotonin, your brain's don't panic molecule. If your gut's inflamed or imbalanced, your brain sounds the alarm. Translation, a troubled gut can literally cause anxiety. In fact, scientists did a study. Mice raised without gut bacteria were skittish, anxious messes. But when researchers gave them calming microbes, boom, chill mode. So, I ordered a gut health test. The results were brutal. My gut lining was compromised. Think of a picket fence with half the slats missing. Toxins were leaking through into my bloodstream, lighting up my immune system like a bonfire and sending inflammatory messengers straight to my brain. My fear center, the amygdala, was on overdrive. And then I remembered, years ago, I had a nasty bout of food poisoning. What I didn't know then? One severe case of gastroenteritis can reprogram your gut-brain axis permanently. That was the cause. I had post-infectious IBS, and it had been rewriting my mental health ever since. But now, I finally had something I could fight. I went all in. No more maybe tomorrow. I rebuilt my gut step by step. 30 different plants per week to diversify my microbiome. I cut out ultra-processed foods, introduced fermented foods slowly, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, added a clinically studied probiotic, slept 8 hours, religiously, tracked every symptom with a journal. Within 3 weeks, my bloating eased, my brain fog cleared, and those violent 3 a.m. panic attacks cut in half. Here's where most people stop, but I kept going because food was only half the healing. The other half? My nervous system. I learned about polyvagal theory, how we can tone our vagus nerve and shift out of fight or flight. So I added 4-4-6 breathing, cold showers, meditation, resistance training, CBT to reframe spiraling thoughts, EMDR to process trauma from years of being dismissed by doctors. Every week, I felt myself returning to me. But there was one more test. Ramen, my old nemesis. Could I face it again? 3 months in, I sat down to eat ramen again. My stomach rumbled, but I didn't spiral. No racing heart, no panic, just digestion. Normal. peaceful. It was one bowl of noodles, but to me, it was a mountain climbed. Proof that healing is real. Since then, I've traveled alone, spoken on stage, danced at weddings. I'm not cured, but I'm in control. Every time anxiety returns, I pause and ask, did I eat garbage? Did I sleep poorly? Did I skip my breath work? Usually the answer is yes. I fix it, and my brain calms. Because panic wasn't me. It was a glitch, a warning, and once I listened, I could heal. If you've been fighting invisible panic, check your gut. Your second brain might be screaming for help, and once you help it, you might just get your life back.